Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Ringru, low, low, low.
And folks, today we are on Orsha North, aren't we? Today with some other monthly tournament coverage. Who do we have? What are they bringing?
Well, on left-hand side in the blue, we have a GhostDragon playing 20th Panzer with a Maverick income. Right-hand side in the red, we have an ElBurro playing Musgraya group of Bakhtina, also with a Maverick income.
You know, I didn't really appreciate until we went live here that we actually have, kind of two signs of the Zodiac here, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Panzers on the infantry span. The 20th Panzer does have pretty decent amount of infantry, but not the Musgraya quality, which we love to see.
Well, Musgraya quality too. I mean, it's the kitchen sink division. Well, the naval junk going all over the place. We have, Spiris and Bushlati and everything like that. Like, it's tons of fun.
Yeah, hopefully go a bit more successful in Oyo's Crimean invasions in 1941. The Soviets kept launching.
Oh, Crimea River. Or Lake. Or, yes, but...
A lot of blood.
Oh, there was plenty of that for sure. Korn was mightily pleased. We are seeing knee mortars down to the south 50 mils just plastering that factory, but we are actually even more bizarrely seeing action all across the map.
Yeah, a lot of infantry action, really not a whole lot of tank rushing. I mean, you got the Arsenals getting blapped in the southern town and the Panzer Grenadiers. Actually going to get sniped out, I think, out in the open. IL-2's coming in, so it's getting hot, and the Royal Nine's also trying to get the Spitfire. Good God.
Well, see, I'm trading snipers for, an IG-18G. I wonder which one I'd be taking here. But you have to love the 20th Panzer having the Recon P3s. Like, that's always so much fun.
Yeah, they're very, very good tank.
Oh, absolutely.
Just decent price. They can deal with T-34s, and they're just cost-effective. And they're cool.
They certainly are. They certainly are. Now, I mean, the biggest thing here, though, like you said, is it going to be a vehicle play, or is it going to be just infantry galore? And I think we know on the corners it will be infantry galore. And yeesh, Zis-2 taking out that Recon P3. So that is a devastating loss to the Southman front.
Yeah, we'll probably just see, like you said, infantry on the flanks. And, once again, 20th Panzer, they have the tanks. Probably best if GhostDragon tries to push center, and then ElBurro just tries to push the flanks. And the flank push is going pretty well here for ElBurro. The knee mortars are doing a lot of damage, and now he's getting the flank around with some of his infantry, but not all of it, as actually quite a few have had to run away. For now.
But I feel like every single thing that we were talking about the Panzers being wonderful, almost across the entire GAF, they've been picked off by Zis-2s. Well, there's only one left that's all the way up north. And frankly, I mean, technically, that PTRD can do enough kind of flaking, chipping at the paint that eventually he will die.
Yeah, he does have that possibility. We're just seeing just good effective use of fire support from the Germans, which I think they should just have enough to win out that engagement. But really, I should say nothing too decisive, but GhostDragon actually in the center has made a decisive push and got a very nice +2 bleed.
For now. I feel like Bakhtina takes a little bit of time to kind of really come online. I mean, of course, if you check out their armor tab is a single card, and it doesn't come in until phase B. So there's that.
Yeah, just one card of tanks, comrade. That's all you get.
I'm sorry, your collective did not give enough Patriots to the claws.
One like equals one T-34.
Exactly.
Let's get them out of the factory.
A super like gets you in 1945.
Oh.
Now, we are seeing a soft column kind of moving into the southern side here. Again, another P3 with 3 more squads of P-Grunts. Actually, excuse me, 2 P-Grunts and a Sturm Pioneer. And I think they're coming just in time. Unfortunately, this Zis-2 also is redeployed and is going to be looking up that throat. So I feel like it's going to get real bad real quick.
Yeah, that's a very good position for the Zis-2. And it's just been attrition warfare down here. GhostDragon very much down to his last set of troops. We're seeing a huge heap of reinforcements. But at the same time for ElBurro, a lot of his guys are on foot. So it's going to take him time to get into that all-important farm complex. And he needs to get into that farm complex if you want to shut down that road.
You certainly do. Turning to this north real quick, not a whole lot. So that P4 continued to be a bit of a pest. And that Zis-2 is lining up as a P3, and I would almost bet money, but thankfully I was expected to die in the first shot. And
second, third, fourth.
we kills. That's the important part here. I'm actually just shocked that the P3 is actually able to kill. I feel like P3s, despite being recon, seem to always be driven by Stevie Wonder.
Mm-hmm.
But the Moskaya Pakotas moving on in, Pioneer Furors. So, I mean, this is probably not going to go well for the Pakotas in the long term, especially when that BF-109 comes in. Yikes.
Yeah, an explosive finish. And Panzer Grenadiers, once again, in a forest, holding a position against long-range enemies. They're going to do pretty good. Because these Chernies, they're lovely infantry, they're pretty beefy, but only one machine gun. They do get all the semi-autos, so if it can get close, they can run out against the Panzergrenadier. It's just about getting close to begin with. Or using the 50 mils. The 50 mils also work quite well.
Issues with the 50 mils are going to run out of ammunition soon. One of them, maybe not. Okay. For some reason, I thought I read 11 shells on them, but no, 20 and 21. So a couple barrages yet. But more disturbing, those short barrel P4s moving on in. Because those are going to be real bad. IL-2 coming in the north part of the southern side, taking out and destroying that church, which much feels like it should be a crime against orthodoxy, but maybe with the communism saints, they forgive them? I don't really know.
They were literally just going to blow up the churches after the war. It was like a pretty big anti-church movement afterwards.
Oh, absolutely. But equally, there's a pretty big anti-mortar movement as those brace of tanks moves on in.
Yeah, again, some good hits. So there's this too in a very good ambush position. Probably going to be able to... Oh, no!
No, he's a weird deck
Oh, never mind. It's a very tight ambush position. That's a bit of a bummer, because F-Runs are going to get into that hill and pretty much shut down his push here. So GhostDragon barely holding on, but holding on to the flag, which all that matters.
Well, here's the other thing, too, is that right now, all of ElBurro's troops are going down to the south, which means you can see right now it's 16-8 as another flag is picked up to the north. There's 2 more P3s being dispatched to the northern side. All the areas in which you'd expect to see tanks, we're not seeing tanks. All the areas in which you would think that tanks wouldn't be that effective, they're rumbling on forwards that this is the Ardennes.
Yeah, I guess it's really the run advantage here of fighting against Bakhtinas and no tanks till B-phase thing definitely helps out GhostDragon a bit, because all he's doing is just buying cheap, spammy fire support tank. He hasn't really needed to invest in T-34s or the Boita styling, because there's no need for it. You can just buy cheap 35-point tanks and get just as much value out of them in those more expensive tanks if you're just fighting bloody infantry.
That certainly does seem to be the case. You know, and I'm actually kind of surprised we actually haven't seen the grill to be a little bit more active on that. I will say the air power's been a little underwhelming for Bakhtina. I would have thought that would have been a little more efficacious, let's say.
Yeah. The Spitfires have been doing pretty good early on getting that reconnaissance, but now it is a little bit of anti-air on the field. That one Flag 43 will be enough to stop those Spitfires from flying around, bossing everything willy-nilly. Probably spitting out the cockpit trying to hit the Germans too.
Well, yeah, considering the fact that they have like next to no ammunition in those planes, I can only imagine that's what they're doing. The Bushlati, in the meantime, trying to flank around on those P4s. And there is enough of that I'm going to annoy you to death, I'm not touching you kind of energy here, that we could see a kill, but it's far more likely that this 2 is finally redeployed and might... Never mind. I thought I was going to get eyes on, but that's not to be done.
I really do like how ElBurro is approaching this by trying to do a, this is pretty classic hammer and anvil maneuver of his infantry. The infantry coming in for the hammer attack usually end up getting blown up as they're probably a little bit too close to the edge. You might want to go a little bit deeper into the forest to flank around fully. But those PTRDs are just not, getting the D, and by D I mean destruction of the enemy tanks.
Well, yeah, you would think that being so long and, metallic, they would be a little more,
potent.
Exactly. But they might have been throwing spit wads at these tanks. Equally surprised that Zis 2 is getting just cheated out of the tiniest little slivers of sight here.
Yeah. It's very, very tight.
But you know what? At least the PTRDs aren't critting every single shot that they used to.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be, back in the Dark Ages, the early part of the Eastern Front, it was just constant. 17-7, by the way. We are finally into Phase B And are we going to see a PE2 at all? No, not yet. IL-2 is coming right back in after the P4 and the Führer.
And that definitely feels like ElBurro needs his T-34s on the field. Down south, just a little bit of mobile fire support, but he's actually going very heavy on the aircraft to P3 and the Spitfire being brought out. So he's going to go more for the air dominance to try to blow up these tanks if he can keep line of sight on them.
And therein lies the rub, doesn't it? We do have... Whoa, hey. Was that... That was the enemy BF-109 going down, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I think...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Is that the anti-air?
No, I think it was actually the IL-2 making a run at him. Bushlatty moving on and trying to get some kind of effect here. Nothing too great just yet. The 50 mils out of ammunition. The PE3, excuse me, going after 81mm stovepipe. I actually very much approve of that.
Yeah, that was a really good kill right. Yeah, I might as well take advantage of the flying artillery to hit the rear, because that mortar can prove to be a huge hassle against the infantry spam. So, really good hit.
Absolutely. Now the question is, will he get out? This is not, the IL-2 ridiculousness. This is actually something that's killable. You can see right now he's starting to smoke. Apparently his mother never told him to smoke. Or no, never told him not to smoke, rather. Excuse me. Taking a look across the rest of the map, we've been looking an awful lot at the bottom. Town in the south-central part of the map, very firmly in German hands. Not surprising right now. Although we do see a 50 mil that's going to be engaging. And probably suppress, if not outright kill at Pigren. North and north-central, well, this is still very much a German position. Though in the northern forest, I feel like we're seeing the beginnings, the barest shreds of ElBurro getting more stubborn. Some would say kind of stubborn as an ass, and kind of getting himself really together.
Yeah, he's got a decent defensive position in that forest, especially with his infantry spam deck. As you've seen, GhostDragon is not wanting to tackle in that CQC, and rightfully so. So he's just pretty happy setting up around the perimeter of that farm. I mean, he's got all the Panzers set up in a good position to provide some fire support if the Russians do decide to get a little bit too close.
Well, you seem a little bit too close. You can do down south. Sturm Pioneers being engaged. They are firing at the Bushlatty. But the Bushlatty should be able to get a kill here pretty quick.
Yeah, it got a decent flank shot initially on the Panzer IV, but it keeps bouncing. The PTRDs are not living up to their usual reputation.
No, they are not. No, they are not. And now here we go again. We have more planes being brought down to the south, another PE3, but at the same time, now we have 2 more P3Ls. So, I mean, Hearth isn't in yet. I'm not expecting that Hearth is going to be the guy to kind of save the day, so to speak. But the fact that the P4s haven't had to really be tapped until vaguely soon kind of tells me that things ain't looking good over here for ElBurro.
Yeah, ElBurro's been having a very tough time actually getting, anti-tank into these rather critical locations. He has decent anti-tank available to him, but the PTRDs aren't really cutting it. He's only getting the tanks now in B phase, and that one T-34 is going to have probably a bit of a hard time. He doesn't really have any Panzerfaust, of course, because he's Russian, or Panzerschrecks or bazookas to deal with these Panzer IVs. He just needs to blow up his bloody tanks.
I mean, there are a couple units I think that get Panzerfaust, aren't there?
Yeah, it's like some of the engineer dudes, but it's not as common compared to the Germans for obvious reasons.
Now, what I will say is there is one T-34, one brave T-34 on both sides. The one down south is being engaged by APCR and getting taken out, so that's one less there. And it's kind of funny to see APCR actually kill something. Northern side I think is going to be even worse, which is hard to think that's going to be worse still. But hey, now at the same time, too, we have 3 separate platoons of Strofniki being pushed on in. So the P-Gun's going to be engaged, but the P3 is not going to care.
Yeah, once again, GhostDragon has just got himself into really good positions. He's got good killing fields, and he's doing a lot of damage on those Strofnikis with really not a whole lot, apart from a lot of machine guns, because that's Germany for you.
I guess here's the question, though. You're ElBurro. How do you come back from this, knowing the deck that he has?
Really, for the northern side, he keep getting caught out in the open here. he needs to just get his infantry all the way up north into the forest and do the far forest flank with his dudes and force a fight in the forest where the tanks cannot engage him. And then just try to surround the area and then hit it from all sides at once.
Yeah, I kind of felt the cauldron might be the best way to go through this, and I think he heard you because you're seeing 4 squads of Strafniki and the dismayed groups otherwise kind of being redeployed slowly to the northern side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because those Strafnikis, if they can get into position, can be absolutely deadly. And if you manage to set up at cauldron all angles, you're definitely going to find a rare, or weak spot in one of those tanks eventually.
Well, this too does find a weak spot inside one of the P3s. And almost seeing the same thing happen over here. Otherwise, yep, ZS2 goes down. T-34 did remotely engage that P3N in the trees. And I feel like right now, there we go, 180. I actually like this call. I would have actually kind of wanted to see it down south first. But with all of this infantry here, I understand why he's redeploying it quite as much as he is.
Yeah, if he can just get a good off-map artillery barrage, he can pretty easily mop this up. The also as well, we keep forgetting, it's still at southern town. And that's given GhostDragon really the majority of the points here. He's got the grill actually set up on the hilltop position, getting some very good hit on these journeys, even though GhostDragon barely has a whole lot of stuff left in that town.
So ElBurro tipped his hand, looked to the northern side. See that giant column of troops coming in?
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a few guys.
Just a smidge. Also, I don't know how we saw the 180 off map, but I feel like the 180 off map has been seen, and thus we're seeing now a rather meager defense in the shape of guys going right away and fleeing for the high hills.
Mm-hmm.
Worse though, there's a 220 the other direction, so the 220 is going to come up, throw down an artillery barrage, and absolutely plaster every bit of the Russians that have not managed to get nuked by themselves.
Yeah, just doing more damage to his own troops, it seems, and the actual Germans. The only ones that killed 2 Panzer Grenadiers. And
Yep.
he's what?
That's GhostDragon.
Oh, okay. I was confused because it was like red lettering, but no, it's just GhostDragon's name.
I will say though, ElBurro, it is 1311. Down south, you actually saw much the same thing as a 220 down there, just absolutely shellacking anything that was vaguely Russian speaking. As they might say, no Russian.
Mm-hmm.
But the 220 to the north, the Flak 43 there to kind of push away the aircraft. Yeah, this is going to get ugly real quick. And better still, GhostDragon has 4 squads of infantry that's just waiting for that to come through. Oh no!
Oh!
That actually was beautiful!
He almost got the off map. I've never seen a rocket plane get such good HE damage.
I'm just really, really surprised because I saw that and I was like, oh, okay, all these 4 squads are going to get pounded. 2 get disembarked. That was probably the best way to defang this counter push.
And here comes Zhukov now. But no, the anti-air is set up and no gun runs. Maybe the second run?
The A-20s are so slow.
I know.
I'm sorry. This is not the Marauder, BS that we used to see way back when either. But, another artillery barrage. Is this the final artillery barrage? Yeah, I think it is, isn't it? For that 180.
So.
He gets 2 kills, 2 tank kills.
Wow.
Kind of sad.
Not bad.
Though. The off map, I think, has been the killiest thing over here for ElBurro.
Yeah, and now he has a really good opportunity to push, but the problem is, it's a whole lot of infantry, so he's not going to gain a lot of ground in this, window he has to see some territory. So it still gives GhostDragon a pretty good chance to set up defense. He's got a lot of pioneers, which no longer in their trucks, but can still be pretty good in a defensive position.
I will say I'm not disappointed is the wrong term. Spitfire goes down, spitting fire. And we are going to see sometimes these rather meager postures being taken by ElBurro. And I realize I'm saying this as 2020 vision here. But the Cherny Bushlati, for example, keeping free flags, if he just moves 100 meters.
Oh.
100 meters.
Yeah, it's
just free, which is plainly free.
That's been a real Achilles heel here in just ElBurro side. We've been focusing so much on the flanks, but this town has just gained him so many points. It's going to win GhostDragon the match here, and it's just a Flamin' Ref, a dude in an IG-18. Of course, there's backup fire support, just holding these critical locations.
Well, there have been more that was in the area, but then the BF-109 came in, bombing the Russians, and decided to, hit his own guys as well. So, we, however, despite the fact that we are promised 2 barrages to the northern side, we are not going to see either one of them drop, because we are 8 seconds out, and I don't think ElBurro is going to be stubborn enough to take 2 flags in that amount of time. No, and that's it.
GG, and a pretty close KD. I mean, ElBurro got rocked in terms of the... Oh, he got rocked in terms of the flag points, but he got more kills, and he was definitely starting to come back momentum right towards the end, yeah.
And that's the weird thing, isn't it? Because to me, I was feeling like looking at that, and I feel like sometimes a territorial game makes you feel like the KD should be way, way different.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at kills, we had an IL-2 do reasonably well. And, yeah, like I said, that Chichikov over here, 2 vehicles, 2 infantry. Yeah, when the off-map is among your deadliest units, this is not a great place to be.
Yeah, and then losses, Panzer IV, Dirtshut did pretty good, IG-18 doing decent. Honestly, nothing really crazy on either side. It's everyone did their part.
Yeah, which is kind of weird. I mean, you usually expect somebody to be mentioned in dispatches, but here, people just got dispatched without any kind of noteworthiness.
And such is war.
Yeah, such as war as hell. Any final thoughts, sir?
No.
Okay, GhostDragon, well done, sir. ElBurro, I'm going to tip my hat. It was well played, but until Thursday, I'm Connorwork.
I'm Rangru, take it easy.